Hey there, everybody. Meteorologist Greg D. I want to give you a quick little weather update here on Elsa. That's the storm that formed earlier this morning east of the islands. There it is right there. Going through a bit of an organization issue. The strongest storms were on the southwest side of the storm earlier in the day. Now they're trying to reform closer to the center. The problem is there's a lot of dry air to the north of this system, really eroding it from the north. Having a hard time developing the storms northward. There's also a lot of forward motion with this strong upper area of high pressure off to the north. That's really causing this thing to move fast west-northwest, although it is far south. This is the 10-degree north line. You don't see a lot of storms this far to the south here in the Atlantic. Forecast track already seeing tropical storm warnings for the islands. Takes it through the islands tomorrow, then south of Puerto Rico Saturday morning. This thing is moving so fast. 15, 25 miles an hour here. It is expected to slow up a little bit as it approaches Hispaniola in Cuba. That is the concern then, because as it slows down, there's still uncertainty on whether it'll remain farther south and cross maybe closer to Jamaica and south of Cuba, or does it track farther north where the cone goes through the Dominican Republic? If it does do that, almost certainly the storm will get weakened quite a bit and may not even reemerge as much as it heads up towards the Turks and Caicos. Now, if it stays on a southerly track, especially south of Cuba and north of Jamaica, well, then it could cross western Cuba and head out into the southeastern Gulf of Mexico, maybe somewhere near the Keys or the Bahamas. And of course, that puts Florida in play. The timing on that would be Tuesday or Wednesday, most likely here. A lot to watch this, and the Hurricane Center outlining how past day number 3, which is going to be here Saturday, the uncertainty is higher than it typically is for the track of this storm. So there's a lot to watch with this one. By the way, Elsa is the earliest fifth named storm in the Atlantic hurricane season that we know of. We actually set that record last year, and now we beat it again. It's supposed to be a slower season. Let's hope it holds that way. The models generally trend it towards Cuba. And notice how they are perfectly in sync through about Hispaniola, and then just completely start to spread out as we go into Cuba and in the Florida Peninsula. It could track anywhere from off the East Coast and fizzle to maybe more out into the Gulf of Mexico. Either way, we're in play, and then we will be many times throughout the hurricane season. We're always near or close to a cone. This is Florida after all, so not a big concern right now, but this is definitely something you want to pay attention to as we head through the weekend. A lot of the models keep this a little weaker. Now, I did want to show you the model comparison because even by Sunday, the GFS here is in red. The circles there, the center of the storm. Notice there's only a red circle and no white. The white lines are the European. That's because by Sunday, the European doesn't even pick up this storm anymore. It actually weakens it completely. The GFS, however, takes it over Jamaica and into western Cuba and then off the Florida coast coming up on Wednesday with a potential turn up towards the Big Bend or maybe the Panhandle, maybe up the West Coast. A lot of uncertainty here as maybe a strong tropical storm or weak hurricane. A lot here would have to go right for that to happen. A lot of big land masses and mountains. And of course, there's that forward speed and any drier out ahead of it. So I would take this forecast with a grain of salt, especially since the GFS model, and you might see this in social media, was tuned for tropical storms and upgraded. There was a change in its forecast equations earlier in the year. And honestly, they haven't really been tested yet. So this is our first kind of test to see how well the GFS performs. And to see it be so different than the European is interesting, I would say at least. Is that good or bad? I'm not really sure. We're going to have to see how this works out. But this is a good test for the GFS. So there's Elsa again. One last look at the track. West-northwest through the weekend. It's a quick mover. At Greg D. Weather, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Check out my Instagram stories and Twitter feed throughout the weekend. I'll post updates daily, kind of keep you updated on the track of the storm. Most importantly, it will not impact us on the holiday weekend itself. It would be right after if there are some squally lines of rain or maybe even some minor coastal issues with that storm offshore. Keep you updated here throughout the weekend. Hope you have a great 4th of July weekend. Another look at the storm, of course, here throughout the day on ABC Action News.